So today we need to talk about the Fever case once again. I know we've been talking about the Fever case a lot on this channel, but obviously it's the newest case in the game, and honestly it's one of the best cases of all time, and that makes for a really interesting CS2 investment, because obviously one of the things I personally believe in is that cases are generally some of the best investments in the entire CS2 scene, so let alone the best or one of the best CS2 cases of all time, and one that is also kind of being artificially gate kept under a certain price point. It just has a lot of things working in its favor to make this a really interesting investment going forward in the future, and I want to analyze why right now I think it's a little bit undervalued. I think it's just way too cheap, and why it could be a good time to buy. But first, of course, I just want to mention my cash trading business. If you guys are looking to sell any of your CS2 skins, turn them into cold hard cash, crypto, or any other payment method, definitely hit me up over on Twitter. It's going to be the first link in the description below. You can also hit me up on Discord, email, whatever works best for you. Obviously, we like to buy anything and everything for the right price. But of course, you guys already know we like to get the big deals done as well. So if you have any expensive skins, knives, gloves, bulk cases, maybe you want to sell your entire inventory, whatever, hit me up. We can get you a deal done. We can get you cashed out safely, effectively, and efficiently. So it ends up working out really great for everybody. And when you're selling to me, you're helping support me, my channel, my content, so we can continue to make videos like this one and hopefully help you guys all make some money yourselves. With that being said, let's get right into this video today. So like I said, I do truly think that the Fever case is one of the best cases of all time. It has some absolutely insane fundamentals. It has insane hype surrounding it. The unboxing numbers are looking absolutely insane. People are truly loving this case, and it's been going very crazy. We can first of all take a look at just what's inside of this case. You have the op print stream, which is a very insane red to have. We know this is going to be always an in-demand red. This thing's always going to have a high price point. This thing is always going to bring people back to trying to open up the Fever case, so that's great. FAMAS Bad Trip, obviously it's not all that exciting or whatever. The Glock 18 Shinobu and the AK-47 Searing Rage are both very good pinks. So not only does it have a great red, it has some good pinks as well. I don't really know that it has anything else that crazy in it, but obviously we know it has good gold. So not only does it have good reds, it has good pinks, and it has the Doppler finishes on these shattered web knives, which is giving us crazy stuff like the ruby skeleton, the sapphire skeleton, the black pearl skeleton, all the phase 2 skeleton, all this really awesome stuff. So there's always going to be reason to open up the Fever case. There's always going to be demand for this Fever case, and right off the bat, as soon as this thing dropped, people have been opening up this in insane numbers. You can see here over on the top right-hand corner of the screen, it's kind of getting covered up a little bit, but 9.9 million of these unboxed in the last 30 days. Obviously at the beginning, kind of right off the bat, we saw like 11 million. That's down to 10 million. It's down to 9.9 million, but still we're seeing like historic numbers. I mean, this is one of the most unboxed cases of all time. Part of that is because right now people are unboxing like as many cases as ever, and we have the player base, at all-time highs and all this stuff. So it's not fair to make like comparisons throughout all of CS2 history, but it's a great case. It's a very popular case at a very popular time in Counter-Strike history where people are playing the game, people are spending money on the game, people are doing all this stuff. Now, again, all of those things should make for this thing to be a great investment at some point in the future. Now, obviously, this thing is in the armory. It's only been in the armory for like 2.5 months or something like that. And we don't know when it's going to be removed. We don't know if it's going to be removed at all. But if it is going to get removed, we don't know when that's going to be. And we can kind of assume it's going to be in the armory for a while because obviously the gallery case still hasn't even been removed from the armory yet. And this thing's only been in for 2 months. So it's got, like at least 6, 9, 12 months minimum left in the armory, if not even more. And obviously this thing having such high demand and unboxing numbers and whatever, it's making Valve a ton of money. But one of the crazier things that happened, what I want to mainly talk about in this video today, is we've seen the Fever case price dropping. It has kind of continued to drop and drop. Used to be like $3, then it drops down to like $2, then it drops down to like $1, and it was hovering around $1. It went up to like $1.15, $1.10, whatever for a little bit, but now we are all the way down to 95 cents. And obviously, as that price drops, this thing becomes less and less valuable, but also less and less profitable to redeem with your armory stars. There's so many people who want to redeem their armory stars for it and then sell it to make a profit, and they're farming like the guaranteed profit that way. But what is interesting right now, not only do I think the Fever case, as it drops and drops, we can also see that this thing is 70 cents on third-party marketplaces right now. You can literally load up on this thing. So even if it's like 80 cents worth of armory stars, you can get it for even cheaper, which is crazy. So even if you just wanted to pick this up right now for 70 cents, which is a crazy deal for one of the better cases in the entire game, the crazier part is that this thing is actually, for the first time, cheaper than the gallery case. Again, gallery case right now on Steam sitting at 98 cents. Fever case sitting at 95 cents. So that means a couple of different things. One, people are actually incentivized right now to be redeeming the gallery cases over the fever cases, which is interesting because it's this kind of thing where, hey, once a gallery case is more expensive, people are going to redeem that until the fever case becomes more expensive. They're kind of keep going back and forth. The ROIs, the numbers are always going to be changing. There are some reasons for the gallery case to be more expensive. Obviously, the gallery case is a really cool case too. It hasn't been being redeemed as much since the fever case came out, so in theory, the supply right now should be a little bit lower for the gallery cases. And we assume that the gallery case is going to get removed from the armory first, and that should give the gallery some extra value because, hey, it should kind of shoot up in value first, or it should have, the first run at actually making some money. But I don't totally subscribe to that either, because it's also like, once a gallery case gets removed, then we know about the timeline or expected timeline for the fever case to be removed, and the fever case should also have some little jump in price. But to me, this makes really no sense at all that the gallery case is more expensive than the fever case. I know there's some people out there being like, oh, well, they're both in the armory, so they should both be 80 cents or about the same price. Like, why would they not be the same price? And that's just not really how things work. And that's a really simple answer. And if you don't really think about it all, if you don't really know what you're talking about, you might say that. But I truly think if you're saying that, you're not very educated about these subjects, and it doesn't really make sense. And again, just because the market is valuing these two things equally or pretty much equally, or the gallery case even a little bit better than the fever case, that doesn't mean it makes sense. That doesn't mean it's how it should be, because again, we know that things can be over and undervalued in the markets all the time. And right now, I think the market is really, really discounting the fever case, because again, if you look at these things, yes, they're both in the armory. Yes, they're both being sold for 80 cents or 2 stars, whatever. That does not mean they should both be worth that, especially, like I said, again, when you can pick these things up for less than this price anyway. So it's not even like they're going for 80 cents. They're actually going for less than that on cash prices. But the thing is, not only is the fever case, getting like 9 million unboxed, you can see right now the gallery case at 1.7 million. So the let me make sure you guys can actually see this. The gallery case here is at 1.7 million. Fever case up here at 9.9 million. We're talking about almost a 5 or more than a 5x difference in the unboxing numbers. So the demand for these things, even though they're both in the armory, even though they're both artificially capped at that 80 cent price point, whatever, again, there is some expected value of them eventually getting removed. But also just in general, it is a much better case. It is a much more popular case. Now, yeah, there is some extra supply with the fever case as well. It is definitely getting redeemed in bigger numbers and all that stuff, and I get that, and it's getting unboxed in more often, so there's going to be more common of those skins and everything, but still, it doesn't make sense. And we see in the active duty, not all active duty cases are the same price. There's actually a huge price difference between active duty cases. You have something like Revolution at 69 cents, Dreams and Nightmares at $2.27. You have something like Recoil all the way down as low as 31 cents. So if all the cases in active duty, when they're under the same system or the same guidelines or the same stipulations, if they can have the difference between 37 cents and $2.25 price point, why should everything in Armory have the same price point? To me, that doesn't really make sense. And, right now, I do still think that the gallery case is a very, very good buy at the 70 cent price point, which again, the gallery case is also 70 cents. So on third-party marketplaces, they're the same price. And on Steam, the gallery case is actually more expensive. I think people are really, really underselling and undercutting the fever case right now and really discounting the absolutely insane fundamentals of it and the insane demand this thing's going to have in the long term. Like I said, I do still think the gallery case is a great investment and a great purchase at these prices, but I also don't think the fever case should ever be the same price or less than the gallery case. To me, that does not make sense. Gallery case has some nice skins. The Kukri knives aren't as bad as people act like, and if it does eventually become a discontinued case, there's no discontinued cases that are 70 cents in the entire game. You just can't find that. Discontinued cases are going to go up in price over time, and when you start to compare these cases to some other cases out there, you can see stuff like the clutch case right now in the Steam market is actually $1.09. You're telling me that the clutch case, a case that people talk crap about so much, saying, that the golds suck and the skins suck, and that it has such a huge supply and there's no way this thing's going to be a great investment, blah, 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 blah. You're saying this thing should be significantly more than the fever case? And there's even, plenty of other cases out there like the snakebite case. It's 62 cents. This is closing in on the price of like the fever and the gallery case now. You have the CS2 case, which has classic knives in it. This is $1.73. Like, so much of this just does not make sense. And yes, I get it. You can get these cases for 80 cents and they're going to be kind of constantly tied toward this 80 cent price point or whatever. We also have to factor in, again, the expected value of them eventually getting removed. And even you have to compare the fever case to the gallery case itself. And right now, I think the market is very, very, very much underrating both of these cases. I think they're both great pickups at the 70 cents price point. But I did not ever expect that the fever case would go under the price point of the gallery case. And to me, something is wrong there. Either that means the gallery case is overvalued or the fever case is undervalued, maybe both. both? I don't necessarily know, but I do think that in the long run, the Fever case and the Gallery case both are going to be amazing investments. But the Fever case, like I said, being one of the best cases of all time, right now sitting at one of the cheapest price points of any case. Like, how many cases are below 70 cents right now? Like the Fever case and the Gallery case, they're like bottom 5 cheapest cases in the entire game right now, and they both have the potential to go discontinued. They both have pretty good skins. They both have at least pretty good golds, and they're both super cheap. As the price of all other cases continues to rise, even as some of the cheaper rare cases and even the active duty cases continue to rise in price, cases that are 80 cents or kind of artificially kept to that 80-cent price point get more and more attractive and become better and better investments every single day. So I'm still in the process of actively buying both Gallery and Fever cases, and I do think that Fever cases in the long run are going to end up being an insane investment. Again, not in the short term, because we don't know when it's going to get removed from the armory or if it's going to get removed from the armory or whatever, but I'm talking 1, 2, 3, 5 years from now. I think the Fever case is going to be worth a heck of a lot more than 95 cents, and I also think it's going to be worth a heck of a lot more than the Gallery case as well. So right now, I think the Fever case is being disrespected, slept on, and I think it's just way too cheap, and that's why I actually just bought 1,500 of them the other day, and I want to buy even more in the future. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.